Hello guys and welcome back to McCallum Productions. Before we get this video underway, we're so close to hitting 1000 subscribers, so it'd be greatly appreciated if you guys could hit that big red subscribe button, turn notifications on and enjoy the video. Alright guys, welcome to the very first McCallum Productions filmed outside of lockdown. We're joined by a massive guest today with an even bigger head of hair, Darren Forbes, Eggman Studios and Shambolics. How you doing,
How's
mate?
it going, my man? Cheers for having me.
No bad, no bad. Right, so just to start off, if you want to tell us who you are, what you do.
I'm called Darren Forbes, as you've stated. I'm in a band called Shambolics, and I run Eggman Studios. That's pretty much it, to be honest.
The musician's dream having your own studio, eh?
It is. I'm very, very lucky, and I spend most of my time in here, so I enjoy it. It's a good place for me to hang out and for everybody else to hang out in here.
So how did you come across getting your own studio then? Obviously, we'll show the guys a wee bit around the studio. A lot of hard graft's been put in recently for renovations and stuff, but how did you first come across getting
So I
studio?
started off downstairs. I had just a rehearsal room, and it was just for myself pretty much. And then round about the same time the Shams, I kind of like joined the Shams. So the more that the Shams built, the more the studio built.
Right,
So
yeah.
I built it for just one room, and then we're up here now with 3, I think,
Nice one.
going on 4.
Quality. So when was it that you first got into Eggman and when the Shams kicked off then?
So 2015, at the end of 2015 is when Eggman started. And funny enough, I was in the Shams. Like the Shams had kind of got together at the start of 2015, and we were rehearsing and we wrote some like songs that we still play now, like When She
Right,
Goes
aye.
Home and stuff.
Oh,
So some
aye.
decent songs, but the boys weren't rehearsing that much, and I was told, well, obviously they were into it, but like we all just had other shit going on, and I must have fell out with them and had a huff or something as I usually do. And I left them, and I remember listening to like When She Goes Home on like shitty little phone recordings and thinking, I can't believe no one's going to hear this.
Ah,
Do you know what I mean? So then when I got the rehearsal room, I was still speaking to our old drummer Pandy, and he booked a rehearsal because he was still practicing with Lewis and Geordie.
right. Aye.
So they booked a rehearsal and came in, and I pretty much for there just sabotaged their rehearsal and joined them again. So it kind of just all developed for there sort of thing, like the same, like I says, when Eggman started, the Shams started.
All right, nice one. Aye. So it's kind of coincided then. Aye.
Mm-hmm.
Aye, because I can mind seeing like old videos on YouTube, like doing live sessions in the stairs like, in the big office, like it was minted. Like, so why did you take them off YouTube? Was that just
Probably just 'cause we sounded fucking horrendous in it.
fair
Not
enough?
got the right
fair
equipment and stuff.
Aye. It's all a bit more improved now.
Yeah.
They were always like that. Even some stuff that we've recorded up here, we've ended up, like just recently, we've ended up just deleting it because we're trying to always better it.
Right.
each
Yeah,
time.
I know exactly what you mean by that.
Ah, fair enough. Right, so obviously you're saying about Pandy being the extra. Well, the lineup's changed a few times, but now you've got Jake in the band, and you're kind of pushing on, like getting a bit more serious, and well, you've always been a bit serious, but like getting bigger gigs, bigger lineups, bigger festivals and stuff like that. So how does that feel? Like obviously starting out in your own studio and then jumping up to
It feels good, man. We've went through, like, everybody just sees all the good stuff, but like we've went through some a lot. I'm sure you have seen some of the other stuff that's went on, but like we've not had it easy. You know what I mean? And we've still grafted, and it's just mad because with all the shit that's happened with Shambolics and all the bands that I've had through these doors, like past and gone, it's like these bands come out and I see them for the start when they first started, and then they end up splitting up, and I'm just like, how are we still going? Do you know what I mean? It's like how the fuck are we still surviving? It's
Just
weird.
grafting away.
But I just try to keep focused and keep on grafting. And now obviously we've got Jake, who's like the perfect fit. He's like the missing piece to the puzzle. And it's just gone good. We just need to keep on grafting and never give up.
Actually, the rewards are coming anyway, because I mean, we'll talk about a wee bit later, but like massive gigs were planned for 2020, and obviously it's been blown out the water now. But I mean, we'll go for 2017, because I mean I think that was the busiest year I could find online, and starting off Supporting the View was the first gig
that was the
I found.
first decent gig. We were speaking about that the other day. The first decent one. Anyway. It was the first gig that we ever realised we had fans. Like people that we didn't know. So we got offered that gig for the McCallums that run PJs.
Ah, yeah.
So and obviously the View at the time, they were a fucking huge band at the time. They were a big band.
Totally.
They were still big in Scotland, playing main stage at T in the Park, and they were our heroes as well. We looked up to them, so it was a dream come true at that time to play with them. And played the gig, and it was a class gig. I think it was 1,000 cap, which was like, we'd only played like in front of about 50 people before, so it was really good. And then that was it. I remember that night because I remember looking on Twitter and just seeing like random people tweeting about us, and that was the first time I've ever seen people I don't know tweet about us and say like nice things, and I was like, fucking hell, we could maybe do something with this now. So that gave us a bit more drive in that as well.
That's class. So would you say that that's when the hype sort of first started then?
Probably. Probably that gig. And then obviously it just kind of spiralled a bit after that. We had to keep building it though by playing our own gigs and stuff. And I remember no too long after that, maybe about 6 months, we played a PJ's gig once. And we didn't expect it to like, I didn't think it sold it completely, but we didn't expect it to like do that well, to be honest, because we thought our pals would just turn up as usual, and I think it was like 200, 250 folk turned up, and it was that gig as well. I was like, fucking hell, we can maybe do something with this.
Because PG's about 300 cap, it's no far off that, so that's pretty good.
It was totally unexpected at the time.
I mean, then was it at the back of that then this feeling started getting involved and you were getting gigs with them sort of?
Around about the same time. I think it was early 2017 we done 1 or 2 gigs with them, and then because we done well with them in like Glasgow and stuff, they ended up putting us on tour, so they were a big help to us then. And we done the festival circuit with them, so we done Isle of Wight Festival, Reading Festival, Tram Lines, couple more, some good ones, and then we're still playing with this feeling to this day, but we done most of the gigs with them then, and they were a big stepping stone for us. They gave us a lot of help back then.
Because they're a good help, like getting sort of unsigned bands onto the scene, like getting them gigs
and just getting them used to touring in general.
Because you see, like they've picked up like loads of big names like now, like
Blossoms and stuff. They were out in Catfish and stuff. They were all at the start of that.
They're a big support. So I mean, then obviously in 2017 as well, you were picking up awards and that. What was that like?
It was a mad night, that one. I mean, it's cool like the getting that award and everything, and I ended up being like a vote, so we had loads of people vote for us, and it was really cool. Great night as well, but at the end of the day it's still up to us to keep practicing, you know what I mean? So even though we get that, it doesn't mean, I mean, like I said, I really appreciate everybody that voted us, and then I really appreciate even getting nominated for that award, but we still need to put in the graft. It doesn't really mean too much, if you know what I mean.
I mean, it's good that people are like
it's good that people are noticing, but it still all depends on us to keep writing. We can't let shit like that get to our heads.
You always got to perfect your craft as well.
Definitely.
So then obviously at the tail end of that year, you've done a winter tour. Got down here, PJ's, Glasgow, London, Brixton, and then finishing up in Edinburgh. What's it like going down south?
Try to remember. So what was the dates again?
Of November into December I had.
Right. And what was the places? PJ's, Glasgow,
London, Brixton. I think it was
I remember.
Ratchet Presents.
I remember it vaguely. I remember about crashing the van on the way up the road for that one. It's good. Tours like that are class. Going down to London's class, we've done loads of... For some reason, we've got like a decent following down in London. Right. All the places in England. It's a great thing, but like the last time we went down there, we sold it out in the water rats. So it's strange how people in London are totally relating to it. I still didn't, like, obviously people for the outside can understand it, but I still didn't understand like how we've got fans and stuff. As weird as that sounds, but it's class, man. It's class.
You always just think you're going to be that local Dunfermline band.
Like, so when people like come to us like for other places, it's cool. Yeah. But it blows my mind sometimes.
Oh, totally. It's even like when we've got stuff on the podcast and on the channel and everything, there's folks from like the US and everything as well, and you're just a bit like bamboozled by it all. Like it's a bit crazy when it comes down to it.
So then obviously in 2017 you were playing sort of big festivals as well, like EH6 and that as well. Like how did that all come about then?
I can't remember how it came about. I remember it being freezing cold. Both of the EH6 gigs we done were freezing cold, so I hope they get heating next time. I remember it was in Leaf Theatre, that the first EH6 that we done. It was an amazing venue. It looked class, a big old theatre. and I'm sure the second one we done was the Biscuit Factory, and that was just fucking chaos because they never had a proper barricade.
Oh, aye.
So there was like, it was one of the flimsy like metal fucking railings, and there was just like fights with the bouncers and everything. The whole place just wasn't under control, but it was a great gig. It ended up, the atmosphere was a bit mad, but it ended up becoming a great gig. So.
That's alright when you're on stage away fit though, eh?
But we had to stop the gig and try and tell folk like, didn't hammer the bouncer. I came their arseholes sometimes, but didn't hammer them. But it was all good at the end. It was a good gig.
Quality. So then into 2018 you were taking bigger steps and you went on tour in Germany. Well, you done a few dates in Germany. What was that like?
That was class. Another fucking mad one. We went. So what had happened with that, I was speaking to somebody the other day about this. What had happened with that is there was this guy called Benny, and he was kind of like, so Mikey Johns runs this feeling, and he's like a quite big name to like local bands and stuff, and they always want to get him with him. So he was like, I explain him to other people, like he was like the Mikey Johns of Germany.
Right.
He was like this guy that was like, had his own promotion thing, and sent bands on tour. Like he got Adele her first European gig.
Oh really?
And he got the Cooks their first ever European gigs and stuff. So all these bands that had became big bands, he's still in with them because he got them their first gigs, similar to what he done with us. But he kind of just contacted us, and he ended up like pushing our single just randomly because he liked us. We had a single called Love Collides that we released, and it got in the German charts. I can't remember what number. I think it rise to 14, and it went out after that. But we were just like, how's this happening? And it was him that was pushing it, and he kept messaging us wanting us to play over there, and we were kind of like, it's a bit weird there. It's a bit because just this random guy wants us to play over there. He ended up giving us like a 10-day tour, and it was like Austria and stuff, loads of dates, and he was saying you're going to get this amount for this gig, but we were like still a bit dodgy. You know what I mean? It just was a bit, I don't know, it was just a bit weird. And then I ended up saying to him, look man, I didn't think this is going to work. And he phoned me and he was like, no, please, like you've got loads of people who here want to see you. Why don't we just shorten it to 3 dates or 2 dates? And we were like, right then, let's do it. Because we're like, fuck it, we've got nothing else to lose. If it fucks up, we've got a holiday in Germany.
Exactly.
He was like, I'll sort all your travel, all your hotel, all your food, your drink,
quality,
your pay. So we went over, done Berlin, and about 200 folk turned up to that. It was just total mad. And then the next day we were in Hamburg, and that sold out, about 180 folk. And then we had a night out. We had a night off in Hamburg, so they 2 nights we ended up just going a bit crazy in the Reaper band. And then we played in Kiel on like a Monday night, which is near Denmark, and like 60 folk turned up to that. It was only like 150 cap venue, but still like a Monday night in Kiel. You know what I mean? It was just
band for Kirkcaldy playing over there.
Exactly. I'm still confused to it. But the funny thing with that as well is there was some news article that was going about in Germany saying like, oh, this band for Scotland's came over and Liam Gallagher's good mates with them. It's a total bullshit story. So somebody's obviously made up some bullshit story, and these folk have fell for it, and that's how I think they came to our gig, because they'd fell for that bullshit story. But I was like, fair enough, fair play to whoever promoted it.
So then obviously he's played the Windsor Hotel at the back of that, and it was another big band on the bill, the Dunce as well.
Dunce are class. Did you not play?
We played that. That was the same night we played as well.
Between the Lines.
Because you had 2 local acts on as well. It was Between the Lines and Plastic Mac. So like when you are doing these gigs that you know are going to bring people through the door, do you like speak to promoters saying like, let's get some local bands in on support?
A wee bit. Like they gigs at the Windsor and stuff. Funny enough, like they were great gigs obviously, and they used to sell out. But we mainly done they ones, and a lot. We used to do that in PJs a lot, and it was mainly to make money, because we knew they ones would sell out, and it was mainly to make money so we can do the tours with like This Feeling and stuff, because you wouldn't get a lot of money going down south. So it would make their gigs were mainly, and obviously they were great nights, so it was well worth it. But it was mainly to make the money to go down south. But obviously it was good to get in a couple of local bands, and especially bands like yourselves who were rehearsing in the studio. Like I like getting bands that are regulars of this studio and getting them on the bill at some of your gigs.
It's like a community in some way. Like you push all together, and then you got.
And then they all like they bands when you get them on the bill and that, they always appreciate it, and they always come back here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's a good brand for yourselves.
But obviously, like you do plenty of gigs in Kirkcaldy and things like that. But you also, as well as it's a good bit of money making for yourselves, you also do fundraising for local food banks. What was the idea behind that then?
I just saw in a news article one day that the food bank was about to collapse in Kirkcaldy, and we were just like, well, we may as well try and do something about it. Like know that like hopefully like loads of people take a bit of action and try to do something about it. But I was like, if we just put together a quick gig, and funnily enough, I wanted to do like an intimate gig, like our old gigs at the Windsor. They used to be really crazy and stuff, and as the Shams started progressing, that like the madness was still there, but it was a bit more controlled. It wasn't like early Libertines gigs where you're getting guitars battered over your head and stuff. And I wanted a bit of that madness again. So we were talking about doing like an intimate gig at some point, and then when that popped up, I was like, well, let's just do it for free. Well, do it charging, obviously. We'll not take any money, and every donation we'll just put towards the food bank. So I think we raised, I think it was just under 1.5k.
That's brilliant.
That's decent.
So
that's
good for a night's work. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Cause I mean, there's plenty of bands that will do gigs and that, and will only bring in much, like local bands. But I mean, when you guys have got as big a following as you do, I mean, it's good that you guys are helping in the community as well. With I
like doing like charity stuff like that. I want to do it once a year because because our gigs get a bit mad sometimes. The atmosphere sometimes our people gets a bad name, like our crowds and stuff, because bouncers have a hard time on their hands, and they end up we end up getting a bad name sometimes for our crowd being a bit mad. So I like doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
To give them a good name, because if it wasn't for the crowds coming to the gigs, it was pretty much, obviously we put on the gig, but it was them that raised the money because they paid to come into the gig.
Exactly.
So obviously at the back of that as well, you were supporting some even bigger names in the View. He said in 2018 you were supporting Cast and Alabama 3. What was that like? What were the nights like?
That was good. Cast is well, John Power was in the Laz. I love Cast as well, but he was in the Laz. They're one of my favourite bands, so it was good. We had just started working with our manager, Jamie Kelly, in 2018, and he's a booking agent, and he was a booking agent for Cass and Alabama 3, so the first gigs he gave us was, because he pretty much says to us, like, in 2018, we had a couple line-up changes, and we were still kind of finding it. It was like we'd nearly split up, and we were trying to find our feet again. So he gave us a couple of day gigs, and he was pretty much, like, just write the whole of the year, just practice and write. So they gigs were good to kind of keep us ticking over. They were good experience. And Cast are a great band. They were amazing live. There's a guy who plays guitar for them called Skin. He plays guitar for Robert Plant as well. So like he was amazing to watch because he's just a phenomenal guitarist. And Alabama 3, when we played with them, it was in the O2 Academy. So it was class to play that venue. It's a huge venue. So it was a good experience at gigs. I like doing the support gigs.
Big names and big venues like. So also as well as doing things in the community, getting big gigs, he's also picked up like a few sponsors and sort of branding. He had like an article with Fred Perry, Subculture. How did that all come about then?
That was through this feeling. So they asked us to go down. We done a shoot at the 100 Club in London, which was class. But it was just a good day out. We got to go down, do a wee photo shoot, got some free gear. Clothes, I mean, no the other. And
PG family friend.
But it was a good wee day out, and I love London, so I'll take any trip to London that we get offered. So it was class.
Because I know also he's done stuff with Scott's Menswear, and also you've done a few gigs through them as well with the festivals. So how did that all come about?
That's through this feeling as well. Again. So Scott's Menswear sponsored this feeling. Right. So like they're like the sponsorship when it goes when they take them on the roads to like festivals and stuff. So it all kind of just goes hand in hand with them. Right, so again, this feeling giving us good opportunities.
Yeah. Definitely. That's really quality. And then also he's done a in-store Pretty Green DJ set.
Oh, fucking hell. You came more about the Shams than me.
I've done my research.
I forgot about that. That was a good night. That was a pal who worked there, Sammy. She ended up sorting us out because we were playing a gig in Edinburgh that night. So we were like, fuck it, we'll go for the day and just chill in the Pretty Green store. We ended up getting a wee bit close in that as well and just doing a DJ set. I remember there was an American guy that was like, he was a tourist, but he was like a artist, and he drew like this picture of us in the window.
I think I've seen that.
Did you see it? It's cool.
Yeah. I had to see us.
Because I mind when we used to rehearse in the other room, how he had the sticker on the amp case as well.
Aye.
That's I always minded that. But, so in 2019 as well, probably our biggest feat of yet is signing with Creation 23.
That was class, man. A dream come true, pretty much. Funny enough, people think I bullshit when I tell this story, but this is honestly a true story. When I first picked up guitar, I was like 17, and my mate stole a DVD off his dad, the Definitely Maybe documentary, and Alan McGee was on it just talking. And I remember just being young, naive, and talking shit pretty much, and I was just like, we're going to form a band one day and we're going to write songs and stuff and record them. We'll send it to him and hopefully he'll sign us. And it happened like 5 years later. It's the maddest thing ever. But again, it's just about no getting ahead of yourselves.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we start settling and saying, oh, that's it, we've made it, then you're just going as quickly down as it did rise. So I'm still, like, if anything, I'm even more determined and focused than I was before we got signed to him.
Aye, exactly.
So it was class, man. It was total dream come true, but again, it's an opportunity to keep on working.
I got to grab it with both hands.
Definitely, my man.
Because obviously, McGee being heavily involved with Oasis, like you're saying, you're an Oasis fan growing up, like how did that even come about? Like, obviously, McGee's Scottish, but like...
So what had happened is, our manager is mates with McGee, right?
Right, aye.
But we had kind of been... McGee had heard of us before. Our first London gig with this feeling, it was like McGee had loads of bands. It was like a competition, and bands were to post their music video on like this page, and he picked like 5 of them or something, and he picked us. So our first London gig was through McGee, but he'd never done anything really. We went down and played the gig, never really heard from him, and then we got with our manager Jamie in 2018, and he kept pestering McGee, sending him songs and stuff, and he just never cared. It was like he wasn't bothered about us, and eventually we were just like, well, look, he's not going to sign us. We need to just try and go somewhere else. Yeah. And we kind of just gave up on it. And then one time, McGee was at a Jerry Cinnamon gig in London, and there was young team for London that's coming up to him like, they ken the Shams, you should sign them. Which he must have been like, what the fuck? And he was hearing it for a lot of people, like for everywhere. They were just saying, you heard the Shambolics. And in his mind, he must have just been like, who the fuck are these guys? Because Jamie keeps hassling, my best mate keeps hassling me about them, and everybody I seem to know keeps hassling me about them. So I remember our manager was up in Scotland. He was in Glasgow for a meeting with a couple of guys, and he was like, do you want to come over and see me just for a catch up? So we drove through to Glasgow and we had a catch up with him, and it was when we got through, he was like, McGee's just texted me asking you to play a gig on Thursday night. And we were like, what? That's because we had gave up on him, so we're like, this is a bit fucking random. So it was all quite last minute, and he asked us to play his Q&A at St Luke's, and we went and done it, and I think for there we kind of knew that he wanted to sign us because he seemed all excited and stuff.
There was a bit interested.
And he came straight backstage as soon as we came off and was shaking our hands and was like, oh, you sound like this, you sound like that, and you could tell he was excited. But he was like, right, when yous are doing a tour, I'll come and see yous on the tour. He never like signed us on that day. Right, so he says he'd come and see us at the Mash House in Edinburgh. That was about 3 months after we'd done that Q&A with him, and then signed us at the Mash House pretty much.
Quality, man.
It just goes to show if you keep pushing towards it, you'll
exactly,
get it.
Man.
Aye.
It's like,
even if he is
still to this day, sometimes like, well, obviously like no, I speak to him now and again. It's just everything's chilled and stuff. But now and again, when I sit back and think about it, I'm just like, fucking hell. It's pretty crazy. But then if you do that too much, if you dwell on it too much, that's when it plays in your mind, and that feels like pressure and stuff. So I don't like to dwell on it too much. I like to just keep cracking on.
Yeah, 100%.
So do you think it was that persistence then for Jamie, and then obviously like the hype being around you, is like your fans help pushing it as well? Do you think that's
funny enough, even like me and Jamie laugh about this, I didn't even think it was persistence for Jamie. I think he's a bit raging at it that McGee never listened to him because obviously he had been pestering him for ages, and he'd say like it's all right, but it's like he wasn't saying too much about it. Do you know what I mean? But I think it was just like obviously young team for London, because it was like 16-year-old boys and girls for London. So he must have been like, how the fuck had they heard of them? And it must have been playing on his... I think that was the game changer. So whoever it was down in London, we owe them a pint. And it changed my life a fair bit.
Because I mean, McGee's a massive name. Like obviously they had Creation Records back in like the 90s and that, but like it was big names like Oasis, and then like involved with Primal Scream as well, was he? Like
Jesus and Mary Jane.
Big names,
like huge names. Like there must be quality, like being able to say
definitely. And it's classic. Hearing his stories is hilarious, because he's been up here a few times and we've spoke to him. We've been to his Q&A and stuff, and some of these stories are just fucking hilarious. He's literally met everybody, like from Michael Jackson to like George Martin. So it's crazy. But he's got some class stories, and he's a good guy. So we just need to keep in with him and fuck it for ourselves.
Keep impressing him. But aye. So like sort of up to now, you have brought out 5 tracks on Spotify, but also you've brought out a release of vinyl. What I've got over there.
It's not on camera.
What was that like? Being able to bring out your own vinyl.
It was good, man. It was that was the first single we brought out in Creation, and the thing with it as well is McGee liked the demo yet, so he was like, why don't, it was the day we signed the record deal, he was like, why don't you just try and produce it yourself? And I think our manager Jamie was just like, oh no, and he said, he was like, oh no, but we were like, fuck it, let's try it.
Yeah.
So we kind of, to be honest, we were winging it. Me and the guys that are in the studio with the now, Scott Thompson and Scott Williamson, like we all realised this is a big opportunity for for the Shams. Obviously, I wanted it to be right, but for the studio as well, it was going to be a huge opportunity. And you can see since the last time he's been here, how much this place has changed.
Yeah,
and it's pretty much
man.
because of that.
Yeah.
Because releasing that on Creation and bands just wanted to come after that, but it had its moments recording that as well. I was so fucking stressed because obviously like writing the song and then rehearsing it and playing it live, and I do love playing it live, but especially when the crowd react to it. But then when you've got to record it and you've got to listen to it every day, and it just seemed to be going like, we got there in the end, but it had its hurdles. So we recorded it in here, and it just didn't seem to be going right, and it like nothing seemed to be going right. And my manager would be phoning every day, and he'd just be, I think we've fucked it, I think we've ran out of luck, and he was just worried about it. But eventually we got there in the end, and as I say, it's been huge for the studio as well. I can't really listen to it again because we were spending like 16 hours a day.
That's what I was about to say. Like you just
there was a couple like 12-hour shifts we done in here, but I'm sure at the end, because we were so tight on time, there was 2 days where I stayed in here for 16 hours, like on both days, just to get it there and get over the finish line. And I was stressed, but we got there in the end, and I'm so glad that we done it in here because it's gave the studio a big rise as well.
Good name as well. Because I know what you're saying, because I can mind you doing like mix sessions for Psychedelic Sally. Like I've been sitting on the couch.
That would have been a long ago.
Like I can mind just going over that, like just like over and over, and like just saying you want to get it right. So like you just feel like, obviously it's done well for the studio and stuff, but you just feel sometimes it's good to get out and go into other studios and record your tracks.
Oh, definitely. Especially with me, because I was producing, chasing. It's like an ego thing. Sometimes your ego gets ahead of you and you think it's good when it's not really that good. Do you know what I mean? Right, so sometimes it's good to have a producer tell you something shit, pretty much.
Keep you on track,
and they keep you right. So I quite like working with other producers. I'd like to do one or two more in here maybe, but like the last single we done, Sandra Speed, that was with a guy called Bruce Rental in Glasgow, and he was class to work with. But the good thing about me working with the producers as well is I get to watch their recording techniques and their production techniques, and and I ask them questions and stuff, and they're always sound with me, and they tell me what the stuff that they do and stuff, and I kind of try and incorporate some of it in here if I like what they're doing. So I quite like to work with a few other producers just to see how it goes with the Shams as well.
Because Bruce has worked with like Oscar Braves and Moonlight Zoo and that.
Funny enough, Bruce is a producer for Glasgow, but he seems to have worked with the Holy Five. That's quite mad, but he's a great guy as well. And like, it's funny because we seem to get on with him because I think he's mad. Like, see, folk that's just a bit mental, like a bit gone. Like, I seem to get on with him really good, which is strange. So he's a bit of a mad guy, but he's class. He's a really nice guy. Quality. Good producer as well.
So then into 2020, it's obviously been a bit of a rubbish year, but I mean, it hasn't half. But I mean, you still managed to get a massive gig in before lockdown kicked in, playing at St Luke's.
That was probably the best gig we've done so far because, well, we've sold it 300 caps, like PJs and stuff before. We sold it King Tut's and a couple in Edinburgh and Dundee and stuff. But this was taking it up a level. That was 600 cap.
Yeah.
So we sold out a month in advance, which was like phenomenal. And then as soon as we sold out, that's when the whole coronavirus thing started like getting a bit serious, and people were like, "Oh, this could be pretty serious." Yeah. So we were lucky. I think we were one of the last gigs before lockdown and stuff. Because I remember we played that gig on the Friday night, or was it Saturday night? And on the Monday, Nicola Sturgeon was like, right, no more gigs or events that are 500 plus. So we just slid that in time. A couple people didn't turn up. It sold out obviously, but about 100 didn't turn up because obviously people were a bit wary. But it was still a class night. It was an absolute wild gig. And I'm just so glad that we fitted it in just before all this happened, because imagine if we didn't get to play that and then all this happened, because obviously this is crippled our whole year pretty much. By the end of the year we would have been playing a 1,000 cap venue. And we're needing to take we've got a couple plans, but we're pretty much needing to take a step back to take the step forward again. So it's delayed us probably more than a year, probably about a year and a half, which is a bit shit, but fuck it.
You've still been busy during lockdown, like you've seen all the covers come out and everything.
We've done the isolation covers, done stuff like that. I think it was 6 of them we done. And then now, because we're back in here, we've renovated the studio, we've got it back up and running. It's just getting back to business, getting back to actual rehearsing. We rehearsed for the first time last week, and I just felt fucking good to be back to a bit of normality again.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's just getting back to the graft again.
Yeah.
So with the isolation covers, what was it? The covers you've done, was it bands that have sort of inspired you over the years? Because obviously you've done Rolling Stones, you've got a T-shirt on the new, like.
Aye, one or two of them were like bands that we really liked, but one or two of them were like, we were just like, fuck it, let's try this. Like, we done one by The Weeknd called Blinding Lights, and I'm not really mad into anything that's in the charts, but there seems to be, funny enough, a couple songs that are in the charts and that are actually really good. So and we heard that, and I was like, fuck it, I think we can try this.
The Shams take on it.
Aye, so we done it and it seemed to work fine. What other songs did we do? We done Fleetwood Mac Everywhere. That's one of your favourite songs.
I've done the Eminem one, the big mashup one for
that one. We had rehearsed that one a few times, and we're coming up to that because I didn't want to keep doing it. Do you know what I mean? Because lockdown was easing, and I didn't want to overdo it. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want to kill it because we were doing well, and it was all like, it seemed to be getting a buzz, and I was like, we're going to do a song one time and it's going to fuck up and nobody's going to like it. So I was like, let's just kill this while it's on a high. So we just tried to be experimental with that. It was like Beatles, Eminem and Led Zeppelin mash-up sort of thing.
Cool, like.
Quality. But so then obviously since 2020 has been a shit show. Quite a few festivals you had lined up have been cancelled. Transmit being the biggest.
That was depressing because obviously, like, we've done festivals down in England, we've never done a big one up here. So because when we started, Tea in the Park was like the big festival that obviously closed. Transmit, we never really got that, and then we finally get it, and then pandemic comes. But we're booked for 2021, so by the time that comes, that'll be good. That'll be class, and people will be buzzing for it.
So would you say that's like being a dream then, sort of to play at Tea in the Park and then obviously being Transmit now?
Oh, aye, definitely. I mean, if Tea in the Park came back and it was like Balado, that would be good. That would be good to play that. But of course, it's a big dream, and but we just want to keep, like, the way I see it is obviously the McGee thing. Like I was saying, that was like a dream come true. So we should be dreaming bigger each time, because if that can come true, anything can come true in my eyes.
Just got to keep pushing it away.
Exactly.
That's all you've got to do. Just keep the hard work going. It's the exact same for ourselves. Like we've obviously just started off past 6 months, but
you are doing good with this podcast. So this is the fourth one you see.
Fourth one.
And you're already getting it filmed with like decent mics. And that's not too bad.
Just try to get through it.
So what would you say is next for the Shams then, and Eggman as well? Like, obviously you've renovated now.
I think Eggman's going to do well, because obviously once bands are going to be dying to get back in here, and we've already like had loads of people message wanting booked in. We've got our own podcast that we're going to start up, hoping to do the first one this week. So I think Eggman's going to be fine. The Shams, like, our year next year is going to be crazy busy. It was already going to be busy this year, but most of that's moved to next year, plus other stuff we've booked, so next year's just going to be hectic. But so for now, what we need to do with the Shams is just graft and write songs. So, but we're doing that. Like, Lewis and Jordy are going to be coming through after this to do a wee writing session. So we're putting in the work. You know what I mean? We're just trying to get back to. We only started rehearsing last week, so it's just getting back into the swing of things again. But already, like, we had a writing session Sunday. Me and Lewis had one in here, and I think we got 3 tunes done in the one day. So we just need to keep writing. And I always say you've got to write the shite to get the alright. Do you know what I mean? So we go through a lot of shite tunes as well, but got to get them past us to get the good ones.
So I mean, that's the thing. You've always got to get the ball rolling again. But like, I mean, it's obviously coming good if it's 3 songs in one day. Like,
the ball's rolling. Like, we just need to get it rolling at high speed. You know what I mean?
Definitely. But it looks like it's going to be a good year for you next year anyway. But thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Cheers for coming in, boys.
Best of luck with the Shams.
Cheers, my man. Thank you very much.
Cheers.